going on, everybody? It's Richard here. It's been a minute since we've posted on the Team Fish Taco YouTube channel. Stuff is going on. We're all pretty busy and just haven't really been able to make content lately. But I decided to change that today because, like I was when I made my last Zombies tier list, been in a little bit of a zombie mood lately. And since our last tier list, we've gotten a new game with Black Ops 6 and with Black Ops 7 right around the corner and the Zombies mode looking pretty good for that. It's kind of gearing me, hyping me back up for Zombies again and gotten me back to play the mode and the ultimate maps and everything. And so I kind of wanted to make a video in some regard to COD Zombies, and I thought that the perfect way to do that would be to do a Wonder Weapon tier list. Everyone that plays Zombies knows what the Wonder Weapons are. They're the driving factors of a map most of the time, and they often determine whether a map is good or not depending on how good the Wonder Weapon is. Whether it's like the old school days of just pulling it from the mystery box and getting excited, or working together with your team to build multiple different Wonder Weapons in one map, Zombies has always had really cool ideas when it came to their Wonder Weapons. Some of them good, some of them great, and some of them not so great. But that's what I'm going to be doing here today. I have recently played every single map over the past few weeks to kind of refresh my mind on a good majority of these older weapons, and I decided that a Wonder Weapon tier list would be really fun. So without further ado, let's jump into it. To start things off, of course, we're going to talk about the ray gun. The only gun that has been in quite literally every single Zombies game in this franchise. The ray gun is iconic, and I really don't need to talk about it that much. It is fucking awesome. However, it's not the best when it comes to Wonder Weapons. Because it's the first, it's really cool, and it's iconic, but there's a lot of problems with the ray gun. The ray gun can get you killed with splash damage if you don't have, like, PhD, for example. In a lot of these older games, PhD wasn't really available. Honestly, most Wonder Weapons kind of outshine the ray gun in damage alone, but it is so iconic and it is so consistent that I gotta give respect where respect is due, and I love the ray gun. Most people love the ray gun. When you pull it out of the box, there's that unique sound and everything. Everyone knows that you got it, and it is awesome. And in the newer games, it's actually better than it was back then. The way that the Zombies mechanics work with Cold War and up, ray gun is actually really, really good. Like, actually really good. In fact, I probably would have given the ray gun a B had it not been for its performance in the newer games. It is just that much better in the newer CODs than it is in the old ones. So, of course, it's not an S tier, it's not top tier Wonder Weapon, but it is fun, it is iconic, probably the most iconic gun in all of COD Zombies, and we're going to start the list out with a great, big, beautiful A-tier Wonder Weapon. Okay, moving on to the Wonder Waff. This has always been my personal favorite Wonder Weapon, at least back in the day. In the early days of Zombies, I love the Wonder Waff. I still love the Wonder Waff. It is insane. It is so satisfying to use. Compared to some of the weapons these days, maybe like it doesn't perform quite as well as the uber insane Wonder Weapons, but the Wonder Waff is so cool. It is so iconic, and just the design is perfect. And I like how it's only limited to 10 zombie kills. I think it'd be a little overpowered and a little too broken if the chain shot was infinite, if it could take out an entire horde. I like the fact that it can only take out 10, because it gives you more of a challenge. This gun is so much fun that they brought it back in a multitude of games, and they actually just brought it back for the first time in years as a main Wonder Weapon in Black Ops 6, and it's still really fun. So, to me, I've never lost any love to the Wonder Waff. It's still one of my favorite. I don't know if it's my absolute favorite anymore. It might be. That might be a conversation for another day. But there is no other spot for the Wonder Waff than an S tier. It is reliable, except on Deriz, because of the whole jug thing. But aside from that, you just know that you're going to get out of a sticky situation with this thing. It is iconic, the sound design is perfect, and it's just fucking cool. It is awesome. Moving on to the Thunder Gun. We got two back-to-back bangers here. Just like with the Wonder Waff, the Thunder Gun is insane. These early Wonder Weapons, they were cooking here. Just like the Ray Gun and the Wonder Waff, they kept bringing back the Thunder Gun because people loved it so much. It is a fan favorite. Now, granted, it's actually been a few games since we've seen it, so maybe in Black Ops 7 they bring it back. That'd be cool. But regardless, the Thunder Gun is is sick. It is probably the one wonder weapon that is the most get out of jail free card. You get cornered, you pull it out, and just a quick press of a button, and boom, that whole horde is gone. And I actually kind of like the fact that you can't reload it without shooting both of its shots. Again, not being overpowered for overpowered's sake, there is a couple things that make it a little bit more grounded and have a little bit of challenge. Not saying that using the thunder gun is challenging, but it's just little things like that that make me appreciate the weapon more. So I'm not really going to spend too much more time on it. The thunder gun is insane. Everybody knows that. It's going to sit right next to the Wunderwaffe in S tier. We are just starting out in a absolutely top tier, beautiful state. Moving on to the Winter's Howl from Black Ops 1. Unfortunately, that top tier, beautiful state is about to plummet when it comes to the Winter's Howl. I guess they were riding high off of the first three and they thought that they could get away with whatever gun they threw at us, and the Winter's Howl was a rude wake-up call because this thing is straight up dog shit. This thing is so bad that it actually falls off when pack-a-punched on like round 15? Something like that? That is insane. What on earth? The only thing that the Winter's Howl is kind of good for is to slow down the scientist so your friends can shoot him. But if you're playing solo, that thing ain't doing shit to the scientist because you're going to be too busy trying to shoot him and run away, and you're not going to get any actual damage into him. So it's useless in that regard, and it's useless in pretty much every other way. The one thing that I will give this gun credit for is I like how when the zombies aren't frozen, that you can just pass through them. They don't body block you and get you trapped. That is the one thing that I actually appreciate the Winter's Howl for, but it is not going to save it from being our first F tier wonder weapon. This thing is dog shit. It is so bad. Everybody knows that this thing sucks, so let's move on. Unfortunately, we're jumping from one shit gun to another, talking about the VR-11. Man, I just don't really know what they were doing here, man. That's not very good. Sure, it has more uses than the Winter's Howl does, but it's still like, I would argue that the Winter's Howl even might be more fun to use than the VR-11. Now, that being said, I know that when you use it in co-op, and you shoot a teammate, he gets that insta-kill effect for, what is it, like 5-6 seconds, something like that, maybe 10. But that's literally it. The one decent thing that it can do if you pack-a-punch it is you can shoot George with it and you get rid of him, but you don't get the rewards for killing George. So there's really no point. And George isn't even that bad. So it's really just a waste of a weapon slot and 5,000 points when it comes to pack-a-punching the VR-11. And its actual effect of turning one zombie into a human and having him run to the water is theoretically supposed to have all the rest of the zombies chase him to the water, kind of like a monkey bomb effect, but it doesn't work half the time. If you shoot a horde with the VR-11 and turn one zombie, I would say like probably maybe half of the zombies go after that guy, and you're stuck with the remaining ones while you're reloading the shitty VR-11. I do think it's better than the Winter's Howl, but it is not fun to use. It's got a couple quirks to it that kind of save it with the co-op thing, so I think D tier is going to be where the VR-11 sits. It's really not super fun to use. It's not very good. That's the VR-11. Let's move on. Now, the other wonder weapon in Call of the Dead is the Scavenger. And finally, we have an actual decent wonder weapon. It's nowhere near as good as the top tiers, don't get me wrong, but the Scavenger is actually a lot of fun to use. Now, I will say one thing for the Scavenger. It is PhD or die. You will die using this thing without PhD. You can look at that however you want. I personally don't mind it because PhD is a really good perk as it is. So I wouldn't say it's a waste of a perk slot to have it to shoot the Scavenger, but that still kind of takes away points. The kaboom effect, the area of effect for the Scavenger is insane. So if you try to use it without the PhD, unless you are like across the map, you are going to feel that. This is probably the best weapon to kill George with, maybe this one and a couple upgraded guns in the box, but it is super fun. It is very satisfying. Now, the downside of this thing is the damage does fall off kind of early-ish. It is, honestly, this wonder weapon should have had infinite damage. I think everyone kind of knows that. If this gun had had infinite damage, then Call of the Dead's round 100 would have been achieved a hell of a lot earlier than last year. And it takes like 70 hours to do it, which sounds miserable. But the gun is sick, the design is sick. I kind of like the thermal sight when you pack it. Kind of just gives that extra coolness added to it when it comes to packing these guns. It's a lot of fun to use. It's fairly overpowered, but it falls off kind of quick. So I think I'm going to give the Scavenger a B tier. I think it's a perfect B tier wonder weapon. It's a lot of fun, and that's just all there is to it. Alright, moving on to the baby gun from Shangri-La, or as it's supposed to be called, the 3179 JGB215. Yeah, right, Traer. Seriously. The baby gun is amazing. I absolutely love the baby gun. The design of this thing is really cool. I really appreciate whoever had the idea, hey, let's have a deal where you can shoot into a horde, and it turns the zombies into these tiny little babies, basically, and you kill them by running back through them. That is actually such a cool idea, and I love that. The one downside to this gun is, holy shit, the drop rate for this thing is really, really rare. It is insanely rare to pull this wonder weapon. Probably of any gun in Black Ops 1, this is probably the hardest one to get out of the box. I think another reason that a lot of people don't really mess with this gun is that it's because that it's on Shangri-La only, and I'm certainly not the biggest fan of Shangri-La like a lot of people in the community. Some people love the map, and I can certainly see why, and this gun is a good reason to love the map. But I would say that this is a rare example of a wonder weapon not really defining a map, like a map's taste. Because I personally believe that Shangri-La isn't that great of a map, but I love this wonder weapon. There's going to be another case like that coming up relatively soon. But the baby gun is amazing, and this may be controversial depending on what your opinions on this gun are or whatnot, but seriously, I think it's one of the best wonder weapons. I'm giving it another S tier. They were absolutely cooking with these early wonder weapons, and this gun is no exception. I love this thing, and it's just really, really fun to use. Honestly, the biggest issue is that its name is dumb. Like, just call it the baby gun. Alright, moving on to the wave gun from Moon. I used to really not like this gun for some reason, and I don't know why, because it is actually really fun to use. Not only do you have this gun that you can comfortably shoot into a horde and dispatch it in a really funny and unique way, but you can actually pull it apart, and now you have, like, dual-wielding zap guns that are really good. You, like, one hit for a while, anyway. As for, like, a design, it's, like, a perfect weapon to use for like a really unique location like the moon. I really like the popping effect for the zombies, and it's just a fun gun to use, but it's not the most insane gun in the world. Sometimes zombies will slip through the cracks when it comes to the popping effect, and depending on your situation, that might spell disaster for you. It's a fun gun to use. I think it is more in line with the Scavenger, so I am going to put it in B tier. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty satisfying for what it actually does to the zombies. That's just about it. Perfect B tier wonder weapon. All right, moving on to Black Ops 2 with the jet gun. This one is they took a big swing with the jet gun. I think no one can dispute that, is they took a big swing when it came to this. When it came to Transit in general. Transit is just one big swing and a really big miss. Because, like Transit, this gun is fucking dog shit. There are a multitude of reasons as to why the jet gun is terrible. I will say the first reason of being the fact it was the first gun that you really had to build, and that's not necessarily a problem on its own, but the method that they go about building this thing is absurd. They have 4 fucking parts that are spread across this giant map, and if you are playing solo, and this is an early Black Ops 2 problem at its core, you can only pick up one fucking part at a time. So you have to travel that goddamn bus or move through the goddamn fog to find the other parts. And the place that you build it, it's not centrally located for all of the other parts. You have to run through lava and fucking denizens, and God, Transit sucks. So that's reason 1, is that you have to build this gun with 4 parts. Reason 2 why the jet gun sucks. You get a maximum of 6 fucking seconds to use this thing, and then it will blow up, and then guess what? You gotta go build it again. Yes, I know, you're supposed to balance the overheating mechanic, but guess what? That wouldn't be so bad if the recharge for the heating mechanic didn't take longer than paint to dry. I swear to God, it will probably take like 3 or 4 full minutes for it to completely die back down to the point where you can use it safely again. The only thing that I thought that was actually kind of cool with this wonder weapon specifically, and they've only done it for the Black Ops 2 jet gun, is that it actually doesn't take up a weapon slot. It's more of like an equipment thing that you have. You hit like the side button and you will pull it out, kind of like a specialist item or something like that. And they never really did that again for any of the Wonder Weapons going forward. Everything else sucks. This gun is dog shit, and it is sitting right next to the Winter's Howl in F tier garbage. Moving on. Now we have the Sliquifier from Die Rise. Now this is the other example that I was talking about where a good Wonder Weapon being on a shitty map, because Die Rise is a shitty map. However, like Shangri-La and the Baby Gun, this fucking Wonder Weapon is so good. It's so good that back when this map came out, they had to patch it because it was so good. Because one shot with this thing would eliminate an entire round of zombies, basically, because the goo effect lasted so long. And this is a really unique design for a weapon. And it's not super safe because Die Rise has so many spots that you can fall to your death. And if the ground is slippery, then you can just slide right off, and that'll be pretty much GG for Die Rise. But this thing is a lot of fun. Now, like the jet gun, you do have to build this thing, but unlike the jet gun, all parts for the Sliquifier are within like 3 rooms of each other, so you really are not going out of your way to build it. I've personally used this gun to get to round 100 on Die Rise, and it's just a lot of fun using it. I really like this gun. It is such a shame that it is on such a dog shit map, because I would love to see a return of the Sliquifier. That would be sick, but no, as of right now, it's still on shitty Die Rise, so I really don't use it that much, except when I play Die Rise, which is once in a blue moon. But just like the Baby Gun, this thing is insane, and it is going right next to it in S tier. It is such a great Wonder Weapon. Now, moving on to the Blundergat from Mob of the Dead. Mob of the Dead has a lot of really cool and unique features that make the map what it is and why the map is so fun to play, and the Blundergat is just one of those many features. It's just a cool, simple Wonder Weapon to use against zombies. It's nothing like special or anything, or at least not yet, but in its base form, it's just a fun gun to use. It's not like the most insane thing in the world. It won't like clear horde like a Thunder Gun or anything like that, but it's just really cool. I like how you can get a free one by just doing the Easter egg with the Hell's Retriever, with the skulls and everything, and you can just guarantee yourself a really fun time, and you can pull it out of the box so more than one person can get it if you're playing with more people. The Blundergat is fun. It's nothing too crazy, but it's just a simple and just fun Wonder Weapon to use, so we're gonna throw the Blundergat in B tier. B tier for Blundergat. Now, its upgrade variant on Mob of the Dead is the Acid Gat, and yes, I am counting it as its own separate Wonder Weapon because it inherently does something completely different than the Blundergat. It's a lot better than the Blundergat. The Acid Gat is a lot of fun to use. It has this crazy, like, monkey effect where you shoot a point and the zombies will all congregate on the point. Now, it's a little finicky with how it works exactly, but it's still pretty reliable when it comes to actually using it. And you can get yourself out of a very tight situation with the Acid Gat. And it's simple and easy to upgrade. All you gotta do is grab 3 parts, and because this is Mob of the Dead, you can actually grab them just by yourself, by the way, fucking Victus maps. And you just build it at the bench, and then boom, you have your Acid Gat. And it's just that simple. It's another reason why Mob of the Dead is one of the best maps. It's just fun to use, and it's a big improvement on the Blundergat. So the Acid Gat is going to sit in A tier. It is a fun as hell weapon to use. Now, moving on to the Ray Gun Mark II. I would go as far as to say that, at least in the zombies community, the Ray Gun Mark II is just as iconic as the original Ray Gun, and it is a perfect innovation on the Ray Gun. It is so good that they've brought it back in every single game except Cold War and added different variations to it. We'll talk about those a little bit later. It's even in the Black Ops 7 beta. That's how much of a mainstay that the Ray Gun Mark II is. And it is better than the Ray Gun in almost every way. It does more damage than the Ray Gun, it's more reliable than the Ray Gun, it sounds cooler than the Ray Gun in my opinion, and it's just really, really cool. So, honestly, there's nowhere else for the Ray Gun Mark II to sit other than S tier. They brought it back a bunch of times, it's a mainstay. It is so fun to use. We'll talk about the variants a little later, but most of those are really good too. And it's just a fun as hell Wonder Weapon, and the top tier when it comes to the ray gun. Now, the other wonder weapon that was introduced and buried is the Paralyzer. Now, the Paralyzer is kind of unique in the fact that it really helps with the map versus against the zombies, if that makes any sense. A lot of people use the Paralyzer to fly around, and that is super cool that it can do that. But when it actually comes to killing zombies, I would say it's one of the weaker ones. Now, that may not make a lot of sense because it does have infinite ammo, and it does seem to do infinite damage, but it kills zombies so slowly that this is not like a get out of jail free card that you might think it is. Sure, you can upgrade it and it can do a little bit more damage and kill a little faster and it'll recharge quicker, but I just think that it's a little dangerous to use, and I just wish its damage output to kill was just a little faster, in my opinion. It's still a really cool wonder weapon. I actually really used to like it, but it's kind of gone down in my mind over the years, especially after playing all these other weapons. I just don't think it's the top tier wonder weapon that I used to think it is. Now, it's not bad by any means, and it's, like I said, still really cool how you can basically fly around the map with it, but I just wish that it killed zombies more effectively and faster. Now, this may come as a big surprise, but I think this is going to be our first average wonder weapon at C tier. A lot of people would probably put this thing a lot higher, and I used to think that way, but after playing all these after using all these guns throughout all these different games, I just think that it's just an average wonder weapon, especially with the Ray Gun Mark II being in the map. I much prefer to have that than the Paralyzer. Now, moving on to the staffs from Origins. I would probably say that the staffs are Origins' biggest success when it comes to the COD Zombies game in general. The reason for that is because, obviously, these staffs were our first elemental staffs, meaning there were 4 of them. Each player in the game could get a staff. Nobody was left in the dust, and they're all pretty good. I'll dive deep into each staff respectively here in a second, but what I will say about the staffs in general is no staff is perfect. Some staffs' basic attack is better than their charged attack, and then it's vice versa for other staffs. Treyarch was very smart when it came to designing the staffs, not making them super overpowered just to be overpowered. And they're all really fun to build. Like, that's the thing on Origins, right? Building the staffs. Each staff's quest to build is a lot of fun. So we'll quickly jump in and talk about each staff and where I would rank them. The first staff I will talk about is the Wind Staff. Now, actually, this is probably my favorite staff, and this staff is very close to being perfect because the charge shot is really good, a giant fucking tornado sucking up a bunch of zombies, and its basic attack is really good too. It's like a little mini thunder gun. You could just boom and get zombies out of your way. Now, the issue with the Wind Staff at large is that it has so little ammo that you really can't viably use it for more than like 1 or 2 rounds. That is honestly the Wind Staff's biggest problem. I really love the tornado effect. It is a lot of fun. The building quest for this one is really sick and solid. I mean, that's the case with all of them. I'll give all the staffs their credit with that. But the Wind Staff is probably my favorite, but it's not top tier. It would be if it had a decent ammo pool. But the Wind Staff is still sick. I really love it. So it is going to sit in A tier. It is a lot of fun. Alright, moving on to the Ice Staff. This staff's charge shot is pretty similar to the Wind Staff in that it is extremely effective. In fact, I think the round 100 route for Origins is using the Ice Staff because its charged shot is just as good as the Wind Staff, except you have way more ammo to use with this thing. Now, the downside for me on the Ice Staff is the basic attack. All you do is freeze the zombies in front of you, and actually, unlike the shitty Winter's Howl, when you freeze a zombie with the Ice Staff, you can't run through the zombie. You have to wait till they disintegrate. That is a major issue in my opinion, and it's gotten me killed a bunch of times, and it can end your game pretty quickly because you can't run through an area because you just froze a bunch of zombies right there. Not being able to just run through the frozen zombies and have them actually body block you is really bringing this staff down in points. Honestly, this would be an S tier staff if it weren't for that. Now, I will say that this is the only staff that they actually brought back in other maps. For some reason in Black Ops 6, they brought back the Ice Staff and only the Ice Staff. I don't know enough about the lore, so I don't know if there's like a lore reason behind that. And it's good in that game, but that's just kind of questionable why that's the only one that they brought back. But All that being said, the Ice Staff is still a fucking solid wonder weapon. Realistically, it's just gonna sit right next to the Wind Staff in A tier. It's just a lot of fun to use, and you just can't go wrong with either of them. They're just fun. Alright, moving on to the Fire Staff. Now, I would say probably of the 4 staffs, this one is my least favorite. I think the upgrade process for this one is the weakest of the 4, but that being said, it is still a solid wonder weapon that can do a ton of damage, and in my research, I know that you can't really use this thing in the high rounds. It'll actually crash your game if you use it for too long, which is kind of an L. But you get a solid ammo pool with this thing, and the melting magma effect for the zombies is really fun to see and everything. I would say its charge shot is pretty good. I mean, it's nothing crazy good like the Ice Staff or the Wind Staff, but it's just fun to use. I think this is like the least I have to say about these staffs, so I'm just gonna slap this one in B tier and call it a day. It's a fun wonder weapon to use. It's decent to upgrade, but it's of the 4, it's probably my least favorite, but still really good. And last but not least is the Lightning Staff. Now, I actually did used to hate this staff, but I've come around on it since for the sole reason that against the Panzers in Origins, this thing is your best friend. This thing will shred the Panzers. I was not aware of that for so long. And honestly, upgrading the staff is really cool. Playing the little piano motif is fun. All the little steps when it comes to this thing, very cool. And I like the charge shot that it does. It's kind of like a little mini Wonder Waff effect to an extent. And you get, this one has the most ammo of all the staffs. You get so many things. I understand that the basic attack, you can really only kill 1 zombie with it. That's fine, because you have so much ammo with this thing. And it actually probably sounds the coolest. It's loud and it's in charge. It's really fun to use. But as far as charge shot goes, the other 2 are very superior, the ones in A. So I think it's just going to sit right next to the Fire Staff in B tier to not overcrowd the A position. But I honestly think that's where it should sit. So there's the Origin staffs, the first elemental wonder weapons, and they certainly won't be the last, because Treyarch did that a lot after this. Moving on to the Apothicon Servant. This weapon just goes to show why Black Ops 3 is the best zombies game. It started with such a banger. This honestly might be the best wonder weapon of all time. It is so cool. The design is so sick. It's got this cool black hole effect that just absorbs all the zombies around it, and it's honestly perfect. Like, even like the fact that you really only have 10 shots with this thing, it seems like that's plenty, because you really don't need any more. This thing is insane, and it is one of the best of all time, and when they brought it back on Revelations, having the ability to pack-a-punch it seems like an overkill to me. Like, they gave you more ammo and the effect lasted longer. It really didn't need it. It was already insane enough as it is, but I'm not complaining because the Apothicon Servant is sick. I fucking love this wonder weapon. It is so much fun to use, and it is obviously not going anywhere else other than S tier. It is it might be the greatest wonder weapon of all time. It is so fucking cool. Now moving on to the bows from Horizon Track. They took the idea from Origins with the 4 elemental wonder weapons and did it again here for DE, but in my opinion, they did it better here because the bows are a lot cooler than the staffs. But before I get to the elemental bows, I'm actually going to talk about the basic Wrath of the Ancients, the regular bow. I'm going to count this as a wonder weapon because unlike the staffs where you couldn't use them without building them first, you got this bow, and if you don't feel like building any of the other bows, you can just use this thing, and it's actually pretty good. It's not insane or anything, but I honestly think that this thing is a lot of fun. You have it, and you could just quick tap it and just plop it on the ground, and it kind of has almost like a ray gun effect to when it comes to killing the zombies. But when it comes with this versus the elementals coming up, it's probably average in the sense, so we are going to put the Wrath of the Ancients in C tier. Now we can move on to the elemental bows. And the first up is the best one, no question, at least in my opinion, is the Storm Bow. This bow is insane. It has this giant lightning effect, and you have so much ammo for this thing. It's honestly way overpowered. It's probably the most overpowered wonder weapon when it comes to ammo count versus damage output. It is so much fun to use. Its AoE effect with its charge shot is really just absolutely absurd. And honestly, it's just basic. If you quick tap it, it still does damage to more than one zombie. It's just a lot of fun. I'm not going to talk about the Storm Bow that much more. There's really no reason to. It's an S tier wonder weapon. I would say that pretty much most people would agree with that. I mean, you may prefer a different bow, but when it comes to the actual damage output and its performance, the Storm Bow's the best. And it is just so much fun to use. And honestly, the upgrade process for the Storm Bow might be my favorite. It's just really fun. Moving on next is the Wolf Bow. I would say that the Wolf Bow is probably the easiest of these 4 bows to upgrade, and it's honestly really worth it for how easy it is. It's like a little mini thunder gun that just blows the zombies away out of your path, and it has the cool effect of just being this ghost wolf that does it for you. I don't really have much to say about the Wolf Bow either, along with the Storm Bow. It's just really fun to use. I would say it's not as good as the Storm Bow, but it is still, I mean, as a number 2 or whatever, I would say that you can't really go wrong with the Wolf Bow, so it is going to sit in A tier. The Wolf Bow is a lot of fun. Now moving on to the Fire Bow, and I would actually say that out of all the bows, this one is probably the biggest kind of misstep. I'm not saying it's bad, but when it comes to using each of them, this one seems the lamest to me. And it's also probably the most difficult to actually build because of the charge shots that you have to hit, not only with the jump spear, but with the teleporting the fire stuff to the fireplace and everything. Just seems kind of redundant and just whatever. The Fire Bow has always been my least favorite of the 4 bows. It's fun, it's still fun to use. In a 4-man squad, for the person that has to build it, is not left out when it comes with damage and everything, because it's still really good. You can't go wrong with it. But I think of the 4 bows, I honestly, I would say that it honestly sits right next to the regular Wrath of the Ancients. I'm gonna put it in C tier. I just don't think that it's enough of an upgrade to justify going up in tiers when it comes to the Wrath of the Ancients. Still good, still fun, it still has a really cool charge stability. But of the 4 bows, I think the Fire Bow is the biggest misstep. Now, moving on to the final bow, which is the Void Bow. And I used to hate this one the most, but I've come to really, really like this bow. And honestly, I would say of the 4, I know I said I probably preferred the Storm Bow's upgrade process the most, but the Void Bow's upgrade process is definitely the most unique. Talking to a demon and spelling out his name with charms and shit like that, super fucking cool. And the bow is just fun to use, man. I really love the effects on this bow, and it's just fun. You really can't go wrong with it. So I'm gonna slap the Void Bow right next to the Wolf Bow in A tier. It is just super fun. You really, again, you can't go wrong with it. You kind of have to know what you're doing with upgrading it. Honestly, all 4 of these bows are just great. They're a big reason as to why Drak is one of my all-time favorites. It's just so fun. Alright, moving on to the KT4 in Zetsubo no Shima. Now, Zetsubo gets kind of a bad rap for being like the weakest map on Black Ops 3. Some people say it's underrated or overhated. Maybe that's true, but for me, when it comes to the KT4, I would say it's definitely more average than most. It's definitely good. It's almost like the Sliquifier, if I had to compare it to another Wonder Weapon, but it's just, with the charge shot, it's just okay. I don't really have anything against this Wonder Weapon except for the actual upgrade process on the KT4 to the Masamune. There's so many like random things that come to it that are just really annoying with the challenges and everything, and then sometimes the zombie that you need to build the KT4 won't spawn in for multiple rounds, so you're just waiting on your ass for it to happen. And so I don't kind of like that RNG element to building it, but the actual gun itself is really fun to use, and it has a really cool design. I'll give it that. But I actually think it's just kind of average. That might come as a shock to a lot of people that really love this gun, but I've never just been the biggest fan, so the KT4 is going to sit in C tier. Now, moving on to the Ray Gun Mark III, or I believe it's called the GZ, something like that. I don't know. It's on Gorod Krovi, but the thing in your right hand is definitely the Ray Gun Mark III. But they contrast each other really well. I actually think that this Wonder Weapon is really fun, but of the 3 Ray Gun variants up to this point, I think it's definitely the weakest one. Now, the black hole effect deal is really cool. Just popping it with your left and then shooting it with your right, getting rid of most zombies. Very cool effect. However, similar to stuff like the fire staff and everything, you can't really use this gun in high rounds because it'll crash your game, which is just really unfortunate. And with this being the only wonder weapon in Garad Krovi, that really sucks. But aside from that, this gun is solid. I really like it. I don't have like that much to say about it. I said this in the tier list for the maps. I appreciate that this thing, to upgrade it, throw it into the Pack-a-Punch. With these last few wonder weapons, they had these major upgrade things you needed to do to actually upgrade the weapon. But this one, 5,000 points, throw it in the pack. And I really like that. I don't really have any beef with this gun. I think it's solid. It's really fun to use. So it is going to sit in B tier. Alright, moving on to Black Ops 4 with a multitude of wonder weapons in this game. And we are starting with what is unfortunately one of the worst set. The Krakens from Voyage of Despair. I'm going to do the base Kraken first before I get into the elements. Now, when it comes to the Kraken, I think that they tried to do something cool like explosive damage and stuff like that. And I will say, I appreciate the design and everything around this wonder weapon, but I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm not gonna say it's weak because of the Black Ops 4 system. It's really not, but it's just not fun to use. And this is honestly a problem with Voyage of Despair as a whole. Building this thing sucks. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's just super unsatisfying to use. And it's just a major reason why I don't play Voyage and why Voyage is kind of just a bad map in general. I'm gonna put the Kraken as the base, just the Kraken is going in D tier. Now, when it comes to its elemental variants, I'm gonna be really mean here, and I'm gonna just straight up speedrun these and throw all 4 of them into F tier, because all 4 of them are worse than the actual Kraken itself, and the process to get each one of these is lame as fuck. You have to use the Catalyst zombies, pieces of them, to put into the Kraken, and then you get that version. But the issue is, the area of effect is usually pretty small, and they're just fucking lame. When it comes to elemental wonder weapons, they're fucking lame. And I hate all of them. I hate building them. I hate using them. They are not fun in the slightest. Voyage of Despair as a whole really sucks, so we are speedrunning all 4 of these. These are all really bad. They're garbage. Maybe they can do some damage if you land some good shots, but it doesn't matter because the actual upgrade process sucks, and I hate them. I hate them so much. So, F tier for the variants, D tier for the Kraken. Let's move on. Alright, moving on to the Death of Orion in 9. Now, this wonder weapon here is a really good example of a reversal of what I was talking about earlier when it came to great wonder weapons on shitty maps like the Sliquifier or the Baby Gun. I would say this is a reversal here because 9 is a fucking great map. It is a solid map, super fun, but the Death of Orion can suck my dick. Fuck this thing. They tried to do something cool with like this stun effect that does kind of like a Wonder Waft thing, but holy shit, man, this thing is inconsistent as fuck. You can spam it on the zombies that are stunned and you can't kill them. I really just do not like this fucking wonder weapon. Sure, it's cool to have a little scorpion on your arm that you can use, and like that actually being the wonder weapon is cool, but my god, man, I just wish it was any good, like, at all. It's a pain in the ass to use, it is unreliable, it fucking sucks against the Gladiators or the Blightfather, I think is what it's called. I want to use a wonder weapon to have fun, and I fucking want to throw my head against the wall whenever I use this thing. There's some people that say that this is one of the best, and I don't know what kind of drugs that they're on, or if they're just using it a different way. I don't get it. Maybe I'm using this gun wrong, but as of right now for this tier list, I fucking hate this thing, and it is going in D tier. The only reason that it is not in F tier is because it actually can do stuff to a horde of zombies. Like, unlike with the Krakens and with aiming and everything and their unreliability, with this thing, you shoot into a horde and it'll stop most of the horde. Not gonna kill all of them, but it'll stop most of them. So, it's the only reason it's not in F tier. But I fucking hate this gun. Alright, now we're jumping back a little bit because it's time to talk about the Magma Gat in Blood of the Dead. I'm not including the Black Ops 4 versions of the Blunder Gat and the Acid Gat because they're just way too similar. There's no real, like, buffs or nerfs or any kind of changes at all when it comes to both of those. So there's not really a point to putting those versions of the guns on the tier lists. But with the Magma Gat is the new version of the upgraded on the Blundergat for Blood of the Dead. And it's actually really fucking cool. I really like what they did with the Magma Gat. Basically, it kind of does the same thing that the Acid Gat does, except it's like a lava variant, and I think it can kill more than the Acid Gat, and it's a little bit more reliable. Now, it's not top tier, it's not gonna go up in S tier, but I think that it's just gonna sit right next to the Acid Gat in A tier. I think that's the perfect spot for it, and it's just a fun as hell wonder weapon to use. Now, we're talking about the Winter's Howl again, this time Black Ops 4. Now, the reason that this weapon is on the list again is because the Winter's Howl from Black Ops 4 is vastly different than the Winter's Howl from Black Ops 1. This thing is fun as hell to use. They buffed the shit out of it. There's people that go online and try to... I see a lot of gaslighting, like, oh, they brought the Winter's Howl back and should have done something more because it still sucks. Have you actually played Classified? This thing is fucking awesome. Is what the Winter's Howl should have been. They perfected it here. Now, it's not like a perfect wonder weapon by any means. I think the design of the Winter's Howl itself is still flawed, but it's still really fucking good. You can consistently use this thing for many, many rounds. I think in high rounds, it's still pretty fucking solid. I love the Winter's Howl on Black Ops 4. That's the asterisk there, right? Because the Winter's Howl in Black Ops 1 sucks, but the Winter's Howl in Black Ops 4 is pretty good. So, I am going to put the Winter's Howl on Black Ops 4 in B tier. It's a solid fucking wonder weapon. I really like it. It's a lot of fun to use. It's a great improvement. They looked at the gun, they said, yeah, this thing sucks, we need to do a better job, and they did. Alright, moving on to the Alistair's Folly from Dead of the Night. In my opinion, the biggest sleeper hitter of a map. I'm on record loving Dead of the Night. I put it in S tier. I think it's still in S tier. This map is amazing, and the Alistair's Folly is a huge reason for that. This thing is insane. When you fully upgrade the Alistair's Folly, it is so fucking good. I think it rivals like most wonder weapons, and in my opinion, it's probably a top 5. It's like a bunch of elemental wonder weapons rolled into one when it comes to its charged shot, and I like that each charged shot is random. You really can't dictate like which elemental version you're gonna get, but not like it matters. All 4 versions of the shots from this thing, they all do equal damage. They're all really fun. My favorite is either probably the green shot that just like sucks the zombies into the floor because it does it quick, it kills them quick, and the tornado one, again, is super cool. I'm a tornado guy, can't help it. The upgrade quest for this thing is a lot of fun. It brings a lot of charm to Dead of the Night for me, and I just really, really like this gun. It's so good, and it's so overpowered, and it is a reason why Dead of the Night's so cool, and it is going in S tier. Anybody that disagrees with that can honestly fight me for it. Use the fucking thing, man. Like, open your eyes. This thing is insane. It absolutely deserves S tier. Now, the other quote-unquote wonder weapon of Dead of the Night is the Savage Impaler, and I'm gonna go ahead and count it because technically it is another wonder weapon. The quest to get it is kind of complicated. It has a lot of steps to it. It's still pretty fun for the most part. There are some annoying things to getting it, but it's really not that bad. But when it comes to being a wonder weapon, it's not all that. I would say the best thing about the Savage Impaler is the fact that it one-hits vampires for a very long time. People that say that vampires fucking ruin Dead of the Night for them, I understand a little bit, but the map gives you multiple things to deal with the vampires, and this being one of them. It one-hits them for a long time, and you get so much fucking ammo. Holy shit. The amount of ammo you get for this thing is honestly criminal. You're not going to run out for a very long time using the Savage Impaler, and it's really not bad against zombies either, at least not for a little while. But as a wonder weapon, that's kind of it. It's really the best against the vampires. It's not very accurate. I would say like the shooting is pretty sporadic, and it's not very good against the werewolves at all, especially with the fucking Alistair's Folly being in this map. It severely downgrades this thing. So I think I'm gonna put the Savage Impaler in D tier. That's probably like a high D, but like I look at the weapons in C tier and they are vastly better than the Savage Impaler. But I think the Savage Impaler sits at a comfortable D tier. All right, moving on to the hands from Ancient Evil. These are all really cool, and they're all on par with each other for the most part, I would say. There's little differences here and there. Some are better than others when it comes to certain things, but overall, the hands just add to Ancient Evil, and they're just a ton of fun. Starting with the Hand of Charon, this is the one that the charge shot kind of sucks the zombies into hell from the floor. This is one of the better ones, in my opinion, because it doesn't use a ton of ammo when you use the charge shot, and it can kill a lot of zombies with one charge shot. The thing is with these hands is you really don't have a lot of ammo. That's honestly the biggest problem with the hands in general, is, again, very low ammo pool, but this one uses its ammo pool to its damage capacity when it comes to actually killing multiple zombies. I really like the effects of this thing. The upgrade path is honestly really fun to do, and I really have no complaints. I really like the Hand of Charon, so this one is going to sit in A tier. It is a solid wonder weapon. Now, honestly, kind of back to back, the Hand of Gaia is kind of the same thing. You can kill so many zombies with one charge shot. You just gather up a huge horde, throw down the giant trimmer, and it'll blow up pretty much a whole horde with just the one charge shot. I feel like you get your ammo's worth with this thing. And again, it's just a cool designed wonder weapon. Now, I will say the upgrade process for this one, not my favorite, but because it's so good, I can overlook that. As far as damage output goes, and as far as actual use goes, I am going to put the Hand of Gaia right next to the Hand of Charon in A tier. It is just solid to the T. Now, moving on to the Hand of Hemera. I would say of the four hands, this one is probably my least favorite, but that's not to say it's bad, because it is not. It is still really insane, and honestly, the effect is super cool. Giant fucking sunbeam shoots out of the sky and kills zombies, but the issue with this one in particular is the fact that you have to drag around the sunbeam and, like, aim with it while you move, and holy shit, you're not using this thing long before you run out of ammo. This is a fucking ammo chewer. You can probably use it for maybe 10-15 seconds, and then you're basically out of ammo. It's overpowered in that aspect, but the ammo count is really the biggest issue when it comes to this hand, and honestly the next one coming up. But still really good, still really fun, and the upgrade process for this one, actually pretty fun too. So it's going to go in B tier for the Hand of Hemera. And lastly, the Hand of Ouranos. Just like with the Hand of Hemera, I mean, the actual effect, it's like a little thunder gun in your hands, and you're pretty much protected from all around because you spin in circles. But just like with the last one, this thing will fucking eat your ammo fast because you don't have a lot of ammo. You have to use it so sparingly, like just tap it. That's kind of lame when it comes to killing a horde. If you just tap it, you're only going to kill a few zombies, not a whole horde compared to the first two hands. But it's still really good, and I still really like it. So it's going to sit right next to the Hand of Hemera in B tier. So those are the hands for Ancient Evil. Alright, moving on to the Ray Gun Mark II variants from Alpha Omega. I will say that these things are all pretty good for the most part, but they all have the huge, unfortunate baggage of being on what is arguably one of the worst maps in the game. Starting with the Ray Gun Mark II V. This one is the lightning variant, I guess, and it has infinite ammo, can recharge. There's honestly not much to say about it. It's really good. I do wish it killed the zombies a little faster, if that makes sense, but I don't really have any beef with this one at all. It's fun to use. Again, once it's upgraded, you can throw it into the Pack-a-Punch and upgrade it for more damage, and you really can't go wrong with that. So I think that the Mark II V is going to go in B tier. Now, moving on to the Mark II X. I think of the four, this one might be my favorite. I don't know. It's either this one or another one. The cool thing about the Mark II X, other than the fact that it's full auto and you get a ton of ammo and everything, when you Pack-a-Punch it on this map, you get fucking dual wield. Like, that is sick. 2 ray guns just dual wielding, just blasting zombies is really fun, and fuck, you need it for this map because the super sprinters on Alpha Omega in general are really rough. I really like the Mark II X, so the Mark II X is going to sit an A tier. It is an A tier wonder weapon. It is a lot of fun, and that's all there is to it. Now, the Mark II-Y is unfortunately the black sheep of this group of ray guns. Not the best, not the greatest. I get what they were trying to do, kind of like a little launcher variant for the ray gun, but honestly, there's enough wonder weapons that do launcher type of damage that far outclass this thing, and you don't really get a lot of ammo for it either. And it's inconsistent. Sometimes the zombies will like skip over the little pool that this thing does, and then it's GG. It's definitely the weakest one of the 4 elemental ray guns from this map, and it's probably gonna go in D tier. It's just not very good. I mean, in a 4-player lobby, you're still gonna have a decent time with this thing, but I honestly would, whoever is stuck with the Mark II-Y, probably they're better off just keeping the base Mark II. Moving on to the last one here, which is the Raygun Mark II-Z. And like I said, it's between this one and the Mark II-X for my favorite. I really like the shotgun variant. It does a ton of damage to zombies. No, you don't get dual wielding when you pack it, but it kind of becomes full auto kind of when you pack it, which is insane, right? So again, super fun to use. Upgrading this one, I will say, is kind of annoying with the chimney step, but all in all, it's pretty solid, and it's a fun wonder weapon to use. I'm probably going to put it right next to the Mark II-X in A tier. It's just solid, fun. I have a lot of fun using it, and that's just kind of is what it is. All right, moving on to the Tundra gun. You know what? The Tundra gun doesn't make a lot of sense to me because they tried to do this innovation on the original Thunder gun with the Tundra gun by having it shoot ice. And like the Winter's Howl, when you shoot ice at a horde of zombies and you want to run through the zombies that are frozen, you can do that. They don't block you like the ones from the ice staff. But that's it, dude. I just don't like this gun. It's mediocre as fuck. And my thing is with this gun is Treyarch knows that this gun is mediocre. The reason I know that they know is because they put the fucking Thunder gun in the same map. Why you would ever take the Tundra gun over the Thunder gun makes no sense to me. The Tundra gun is not fun. It can do splash damage to you somehow. Like, I just don't get it, man. There's a version of this gun out there that could be really cool, but this just isn't it. So yeah, I'm just gonna be really mean to this thing. I don't like the Tundra gun at all, and that's kind of like a tag dirt totem problem in general. There's a lot of issues with that map, and this, honestly, for me, is one of them. This is gonna go D tier. Huge downgrade from the original Thunder gun. Huge. Honestly, not really fun to use. Its AoE isn't as big as the original Thunder gun, and it's just kind of lame. Just in tagged or totem fashion, another wonder weapon that was kind of downgraded is this Wonderwaff Scharfschütze. I don't know how to say it. It's the Sniper Wonderwaff. I don't get it, man. This thing is not fun to use at all. Sure, you can get a bunch of zombies charged up in a shot if you get a headshot, but the point of the Wonderwaff is just to pull out, blast, and you take care of a bunch of zombies. This thing, you gotta spam it, you gotta do a bunch of stuff to it. It is a pale imitation of the original Wonderwaff, just like the Tundra gun is, but it is better than the Tundra gun. I will give it this. And you actually get a decent amount of ammo with this thing. So the Wonderwaff Scharfschütze, whatever the hell, is going in C tier. And that is the end of Black Ops 4. Let's move on to Cold War with the Die Shockwave and its variants. We're going to talk about the Die Shockwave first because similar to the bows and the Kraken, I guess, you actually get the base before the 4 elementals. But the thing is, a little bit spoiler alert when it comes to elementals, the base is by far the best, and it's actually one of the best wonder weapons ever. I fucking love this thing. Gearing up a huge horde in Cold War is a lot of fun, and then just one shot, just eliminating the whole bunch. And if there's any stragglers, guess what? You get to use them for ammo for your gun. You just suck them back in. There's no overheating process or anything like that. This thing is insane. It is an insane wonder weapon. I enjoy the variants. I'll get to it in a minute, but as its own thing, and this may seem like kind of a shock, the Die Shockwave is going in S tier. This thing is fucking awesome. I think it's one of the better ones of the list, and it's super fucking fun. Alright, now to talk about the actual elemental versions of the Die Shockwave. We're gonna start with the Die Shockwave Fire variant. I don't know, they all have specific names, but I couldn't be fucked to learn them. This one is just kind of cool. It can definitely burst through a good horde. However, its AoE is extremely narrow. It's almost like a sniper in that regard. With how you use this thing, you really have to line up the zombies in a single line. And on D Machine, there's not a ton of places where you can do that because it's a pretty spread out map to maximize the damage with this thing. It's kind of okay in my opinion. It's just such kind of a bigger downgrade than the original Die Shockwave that I just don't really see a purpose to it, and it's just kind of average, so I am going to throw the Fire variant of this thing in C tier. Alright, moving on to the Lightning variant of the Die Shockwave, and of the 4 elemental versions of this gun, this one is probably the best. Again, I don't think it's as good as the base Die Shockwave, but as far as like beam shooters go, it's one of the best versions out there. Its damage output is insane. You get a fucking ton of ammo for this thing. An absurd amount, in my opinion, for how good this gun is. It's just a solid gun to use. I don't really have much to say about it. It's one of the better options out there. The Die Shockwave Lightning variant is going in A tier. It's one of the better things to get. It just is. Right next to it, honestly, the Ice variant, or like the Cryo variant. Pretty much exactly the same as the Lightning variant. I don't think it's quite as good, but it's just right there on par with it. One thing I will say, the upgrade process for all of these is very unique with the teleporter system and the Dark Ether and everything to get these. None of them are like worse than the other. They're all very unique to get. And this thing is no different, just like a beam, just like the Lightning variant, and it does pretty much just as much damage. So it's gonna sit right next to it in A tier. Super fucking solid wonder weapon. And finally, we have the Poison variant of the Die Shockwave, and this is where they lose me. This one is not very good. You basically shoot a little splash of poison onto the ground or whatever, and you kill. You can get a decent amount of zombies, but not a ton. The zombies in Cold War are pretty fast, I would say, so they can kind of like dodge the poison in a weird way, if that makes any sense. And as far as like getting number of kills, this one is definitely the worst one of the 4, of the 5, really, if you count the original. And so I think I'm going to put this in D tier. It's just not very good. It's just kind of okay. It's like whatever, you know what I mean? It's just kind of mid. Alright, moving on to the Ray K-84, I think is what this thing is called. It's basically an automatic ray gun, like a ray gun AK-47. This is in Firebase Z, and I would say this is probably the only thing about Firebase Z that is actually worth playing, because Firebase Z by itself is not a great map, but the wonder weapon for this map is cool. I would say it's pretty much on par with the ray gun from Gorod Krovi, because they basically do the same thing, where you can shoot like a ball of energy and then you shoot that energy and then it'll blow up all the zombies around it. The effect it has is super cool, but honestly you don't really need it. Like, just the base damage alone with the Ray K is really good. All that being said, this is still a solid fucking wonder weapon. I really like it, and it's just a lot of fun to use. So I'm going to stick the Ray K in B tier. It is just a solid wonder weapon. Alright, moving on to the Cerberus from Mauer der Toten. And in my opinion, this is easily Cold War's best wonder weapon. This thing is so insanely overpowered to use for a multitude of reasons. Number one, with Cold War's triple pack mechanic, the damage output on this thing can go to the fucking moon because the zombie's health cap's at 55. Number two, this is like double tap the wonder weapon because there's a random floating ball that surrounds it that will also shoot the same time you shoot your Cerberus. And it has these weird alternate variants that can pop out of zombies that you kill with this thing. Now granted, the variants are cool, some are much better than others, but like with the Die Shockwave, the base version of the Cerberus is just reigns supreme. You don't need any of the fucking variants that poop out of the zombies. This thing is just so good. With all that being said, this one is my favorite wonder weapon from Cold War. It's probably the best, and it is going in S tier. This thing fucking rules. It is awesome. Alright, moving on to the Chrysalax, the final wonder weapon from Cold War. This is the first, like, melee wonder weapon, like a primary melee one. I know you can, like, transform it into a little SMG, which is pretty good on its own, but the actual melee usage is really good. It's kind of like the swords from Shadows of Evil, in the fact that you can really reliably, safely use this thing in close quarter combat for the most part. But the issue is, on Forsaken, there's so many boss variants of the zombies that it is kind of hard to use in that aspect, like in that intended purpose. But as a whole, as a wonder weapon, this thing is fucking solid. I love the little effect where you just shoot like a little thing onto the ground and then you just kind of run around that and it'll kill any zombie that steps over that. Super fucking cool. I do wish it did a little bit more damage to the abominations, but other than that, this thing is fucking solid. It's definitely the best part about Forsaken. The multitude of issues of that map, and again, the wonder weapon is not one of those things. So I'm going to stick the Chrysalax in B tier. This thing is solid. Alright, now we're moving on to Black Ops 6, and the first wonder weapon up is none other than the jet gun. Yeah, the return of the jet gun. The one weapon that everyone wanted to come back. But I tell you what, I'm glad they did, because holy shit, this is how you redo a wonder weapon right. The jet gun in Black Ops 6 is a far cry better than the one in Black Ops 2. It's not even in the same ballpark. The jet gun in Black Ops 6 is so fucking good. It honestly pisses me off how bad the original version is compared to the one in Black Ops 6. They added this new, like, charge feature. Like, you can charge up, like, a shot, and then it'll release this huge burst of energy, clearing pretty much an entire horde around you. Now, it does take a little bit for that to recharge back, but it's nowhere near as long as the original did to recharge its regular suction thing. And then the regular attack is so good. You can just melt through an entire horde. The cooldown is there. They balanced it perfectly. It is honestly, they perfected the design. I told you, it pisses me off how good it is in Liberty Falls. It's so much fun to use. It's so easy to build. Really, they improved every single thing about the original jet gun. It's not quite top tier because it still has a couple of like, it still takes a little bit to recharge when you completely run out, which is very annoying. It kind of takes a minute, but it's not that bad. But the alternate attack, super cool. I just think it's super solid, an absolute beautiful buff, and a way to redo a shit tier wonder weapon. Just like the Winter's Howl, but the jet gun did it better. So the jet gun in Black Ops 6 is going in A tier. This is a great wonder weapon. Alright, moving on to the Beam Smasher from Terminus. Terminus was kind of the big return of the round-based mode. Yeah, you had Liberty Falls, but Terminus was like the focal point, and the wonder weapon from Terminus needed to hit for it to be a banger of just a return, and I'm happy to say that the Beam Smasher might be my new favorite modern wonder weapon. It is so good. It's relatively easy to build. Yeah, you have to go through a little bit of a quest, but it honestly kind of reminds me of the old, like, Origins staff quests. They're not exactly the same, but just that style of the stuff you had to go do. It really utilizes Terminus's, like, size with, like, the boats and everything. The Beam Smasher, honestly, to me, out of all the wonder weapons that have had just like a laser beam shooter through all the years, in my opinion, the Beam Smasher perfected the design. Because not only does it have that beam that it shoots out, it has that alternate fire that hypnotizes the zombies. So what you do is you gather up a horde, you do a quick hypno, and then you beam all of them. Like, it's just that easy. In my opinion, this is the best wonder weapon in Black Ops 6, and it is so good that, honestly, I am going to put it in S tier. It is so fun. It is so good. It is a great wonder weapon. I'm actually shocked about how good it was. Alright, moving on to the swords from Citadel de Mor. This was a pretty cool idea, having 4 elemental swords, something that they've done before with, like, the Chrysalax was a melee weapon, but they've never had, like, it be the main focal point. And that is what it is on this map, is these 4 swords. It's like half pretty much the entire Easter egg is making all 4 of them. And the quest to make all 4 of them is actually pretty fun. Each of them has a very unique quest that is honestly fun to do. There is a glaring issue here, though. Now, each sword is very cool. You have the lion one, the dragon, the stag, and the raven, and they each have their own unique abilities. The lion one has this shield that like kills any zombies that get near you, but it only lasts like 3 seconds. It's not very long. The dragon one is really cool. It has this huge burst of fire, does a ton of damage, and it does a huge wave clear, and it is really cool. The stag one is sort of just a big beam of lightning. Honestly, this one's probably the most mid of all of them when it comes to the abilities of the sword. And then the raven one, which is probably the best one, it opens like this void and this black hole that sucks them all in, and it does a ton of damage. But the issue with all 4 of them is the fact that they are a melee weapon in Black Ops 6. And the way that the zombies work in Black Ops 6 is they are very aggressive and they can hit you fast. The way that you get the cool abilities with the swords is you have to get melee kills, and that recharges the sword ability. And the issue is getting melee kills is so fucking dangerous in Black Ops 6. I don't think you swing the sword fast enough, and the AoE isn't as good as previous entries. What I mean by that is take a look at the sword in Shadows of Evil. It's a specialist, right? That's why it's not on this list. I'm not ranking it as a wonder weapon. But that's part of the big quest of Shadows of Evil, is to get the sword. And when you just use the sword, swinging it back and forth, it is fucking awesome. It slices everything around you. You feel safe using it. Same thing with the Chrysolite in Forsaken. You just swing it like crazy and you pretty much chop up anything that gets near you. But the swords here, when you do a swing, you don't kill multiple zombies with one swing. You only kill one. And for a melee weapon, that is extremely dangerous. It can lead to downs easily. That really, really brings down the actual impact of these 4 wonder weapons, and that's honestly really sad to say. There was talk of them buffing the swords, and if they did, they didn't do it enough, because when I went back and played them recently, they were exactly how I remember. I don't think they were buffed at all. So it saddens me to say, while all 4 abilities were really cool with each sword, because you have to use melee kills to charge them up, and melee kills are so inconsistent in Black Ops 6, all 4 of these swords are going in C tier. I really hate to do it because each sword's ability is super fun to do and it is super unique to most extent, but they're not safe to use like in the slightest. They're super dangerous to use, and honestly that just brings it down for me. So there you go. All right, now time to move on to another ray gun elemental upgrade. So here's the deal. With Shattered Veil, they did 3 Raygun Mark II upgrades that you could do, but the thing is, 2 out of those 3 are pretty much exactly like the original ones from Alpha Omega. They are a carbon copy of the Mark II X and the Mark II Z, the full auto one and then the shoddy one. They are pretty much identical. There's no nerf. Really, the only change is you can't dual wield the blue one anymore. You can't dual it fully automatic. So I'm not giving them another placement on this list. That may be inconsistent with some previous things that I'm doing, but honestly, they're just not different enough for me to justify a new spot. They would both be in the exact same tier. They're both pretty much the same. However, there is a new version that they did, and that is the Mark II R. In this version, for some reason, they decided to make into like a ray gun marksman rifle sniper. It is kind of cool, but the main issue with this is you really have to like line them up and for it to do like the maximum amount of damage. You don't really get a ton of ammo either. And of the other 3 options, plus the fucking Wonderwaff is on that map, so you know what I mean? I just think that it's not really worth it to get it. I just don't think it's a good wonder weapon. It pales in comparison to the original Mark II upgrades, and of the other 2 options on the map, it's nowhere near as good, and that's kind of sad to say. So the Raygun Mark II R, unfortunately, is going in D tier. That saddens me to say, but I just feel like it was a kind of a mistake to do the marksman round. I don't know what Treyarch's obsession is to take a classic beloved wonder weapon and turn it into a sniper rifle, because it mostly never works. They need to stop that. All right, moving on to the final set of wonder weapons on the final map up to this point. We are ending it at the Gorgafex. There is the base Gorgafex, and then there are 2 upgrade paths. But I actually kind of have beef with the way that you do the 2 upgrade paths, because if you upgrade it one way, you can't upgrade it the other because it conflicts with like a story. It's like you choose a path in like a Telltale game, and you can no longer go the other path once you choose one path. You will have to restart a new game. There's claims that you can get the other version out of the mystery box, but I haven't seen it. But anyway, so the base Gorgafex is this weird like plant, almost tentacle thing, kind of like a tiny itty-bitty apothecary servant. But honestly, what it reminds me of is the base Alistar's Folly before you upgrade it, and that gun's base variant is leagues better than the Gorgafex. I really don't think that the base Gorgafex is very good at all, in my opinion. I'm just not really a fan. It kills like a little bit, like the charge shot, I've seen it kill maybe max like 4, 5 maybe zombies, and it's just not very good. For our final wonder weapon, it's just kind of lame. So I'm gonna stick this one, unfortunately, in D tier as well. That's just not very good. Now, it's 2 upgrades, which are the Gorgafex C and the Gorgafex N. Real creative names here. They're pretty good. They definitely improve on the gun. I think that the Gorgafex C, it does this thing where you charge it up and you shoot it and the effect will hover in the air for a second, then explode, killing the zombies. Just kind of like a delayed kill, but it's certainly better than the regular Gorgafex. So I'm going to give it a C tier. I think it's right on par with that. And the Gorgafex N is probably the best of the 2 options because it does the thing where it like kills the zombies through the floor, and I really like that ability. You kind of shoot it on the ground, you have this huge puddle that really affects the zombies. Getting this one and this upgrade is a little bit more of a pain in the ass than the other one, but I think it's worth it because it's just a little bit better. So the Gorgafex N will go in B tier for our final wonder weapon placement. Woo! And there we have it. This is every Treyarch Zombies wonder weapon on this tier list. The ones that count anyway. I'm not fucking playing the ones in Vanguard, or there was apparently one wonder weapon in Modern Warfare Zombies. No, not happening. Main Treyarch games, mainline COD Zombies maps, mainline wonder weapons. This is all of them, and this is it. All of them in a tier list. I'm actually surprised how many of them ended up in S tier when I kind of like wrote this whole thing down. That kind of actually shocked me. But man, guys, that is going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more of this, like I said, I'm in the zombies kind of mood. Maybe we can do some other tier list or maybe something else. I don't know. I would definitely like to start posting stuff back on this channel again, just because it'd be nice to have it up and running again. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a big one. I think it was probably bigger than the zombie maps, but compared to the zombie map one, like 30-something maps to do a tier list with, there are over 60 wonder weapons in front of me right now. So there's a lot to talk about. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to be it for today. I'll see you very soon. My name is Richard. You take care.